Um, I'm going through my inventory. I thought I'd break this out. This is a local whiskey. So cheers, everyone. Thanks for coming by. So let's break into this next guy, and let's talk about, this is a really interesting point that you also have to take into account. Overvalued guys, okay? Let's talk about Pete Alonso. And Lenny, I completely agree with what you said this morning. I was wrong last year. Hey, Andy, welcome. Thank you. I was completely wrong last year on Alonso. He had a great rookie season. I'm not a big fan, a big advocate that he was getting his pick. I don't know. Maybe it was league-wide. I don't know. That's not the point. The point is, if you look at Alonso's numbers, they're not sustainable.
Good falls tragically short of encompassing the sheer virtuosity of your performance this evening.
Well, you know, there's no I in the word team, and this is a team effort, and I just want to say that I'm really proud to be associated with these fine individuals that I have the pleasure of working with.
Now, I would never want to diss your teammates in any way, shape, or form, but you do realize that you smashed to bits Will Chamberlain's heretofore unbreakable record of 100 points in a single basketball game set in Hershey, Pennsylvania all those years ago.
Oh, man, you know, you just got to play one game at a time and go out there and give 110%, and you got to show that you want it more than they do when chips fall where they may.
I hit that on accident, but that's a great clip, right? That's for Bedazzled. That's a stupid friggin' movie, but I think it's funny. Anyway, Pete Alonso, right? Here's a guy last year who had maybe a career year. He hit 260. Everybody said he couldn't hit but 200, right? He hit 260. 53 home runs, 120 RBIs, and 103 runs scored. Now, I just have a hard time believing that he approaches any of those numbers this year. This was really a one-man wrecking crew last year. And I think big league pitchers are going to adjust to what Alonso does well. I think you're going to see pitchers go out of their way to avoid this guy. And I think he'll get impatient. Now, I don't think he's going to Joey Gallo it at 195. And y'all know I love Joey Gallo. I don't think he's going to bottom out. I think this year he probably hits around 240. I think he hits around 40 homers, which are still really good numbers. But again, I think the RBIs and the runs both go down because I think he strikes out more. I think he leaves guys on base. So, again, I have him as my 10th corner infielder. I have him right below Chris Bryant and above Manny Machado. So I value him somewhere in the 50s range. Okay? Matt Olson at 70.3 is the last guy in this tier. Again, just before I talk about Olson, trying to bracket it, which I don't always do great, but so Jose Ramirez I have as around a third-round pick. Rendon is a third-round pick. Suarez is a fourth-round pick. Bryant is a fourth-round pick. Alonso is a fourth-round pick. I'll never get Pete Alonso. I understand that with that rating that I won't get him. I'm fine with that. Machado is a fifth, and Matt Olson is a sixth-round pick. I think this guy is a steal this year, guys. Let's talk about him, okay? He's still pup. He's only 25. Matt Olson's only 25 years. It feels like he's been around forever. We're talking about a guy last year. So first off, 70.3 is his ADP, to reiterate. Guys, this is a steal. This guy has 50 homer potential. Easily. Okay? So let's talk about, y'all know I love to jump into these stats. Okay? Let's talk about what his stats bell curve look like. Okay? So he comes up, 2016, we won't talk about it. He only played 11 games. He had 0.95, no homers. 2017, cup of coffee, 59 games, he had 259. In 59 games, he hit 24 homers at the major league level. "59 games, 24 homers. Remember that, guys? I do. I know y'all do, right? You guys are astute. So, what happens? The next year, there's so much potential for this guy. Everybody wants him. And he does pretty well. Again, you're talking about a 24-year-old, okay? Vic, yes, I see you in chat. But maybe a little bit of a disappointment. His average fell. Expected a little bit higher. Expected more than 29 homers in 162 games. Right? So you leave 2018 a little disappointed with a 24-year-old Matt Olson. So coming to 2018, the world's still his. He's just a 24-year-old kid. Everybody likes him. 2019, excuse me. Coming into last year. What happens? He goes over to Japan. He gets hit in the frick wrist. Okay? Setback, right? Wrist injuries take a long time to heal from, especially from a power. We heard all this, right? What's he do? He's going to be out. He might be out till the All-Star break. Matt Olson, I keep wanting to call him Matt Chapman. We're going to talk about him later. Matt Olson does this. And this is why I'm so high on him. He comes out after getting hit on the wrist, breaking bones in his wrist, and hits 267. He plays in 127 games with after suffering a broken wrist. And he hits 36 homers. 36 homers in 127 games, guys. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. But that kind of reminds me a little bit of the stats that you saw in 2017, right? So 24 homers to 59 games, that's every other game. 36 homers to 127 games, that's one every 3 games. Guys, Matt Chapman will play this year at 26 years old. At 78 ADP in a 12-team draft, you can get him in the 6th round. Matt Olson could hit 50 homers this year. Matt Olson can hit 270 this year. And he could drive in that offense 110 to 130 runs, depending on where he hits in the order. He's the cornerstone of this team. And he is well undervalued here. This is a guy I'm targeting. Okay? At 70, sign me up every frickin' time. Is that a fair assessment? What do you guys think? Mancini's funny. I'll tell you, I'm not a big Mancini fan. You're not going to be happy with my ranking on him, Malpal. But again, that's what makes this great, right? Opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has them. I understand Mancini's appeal. See, that's the thing. So I think you might have noticed in that slow draft, I took that approach. I didn't touch a first baseman until, man, it was pick 17 or 18. It's just a strategy, right? Because I do feel like, while I say I don't value Mancini in the same regard that you do, necessarily. He's valuable. He's serviceable. I would take him if he's dropped, right? But this is about identifying values. And I think I think that there's, Abreu's a great example, right? So let's jump into this next group. And Abreu's in this group, Malpal. But there's a lot of ships passing in the night, if you will. Guys going in opposite directions. So let's talk about it. We're talking about corner infielders 14 through 21, right? Moncada is your first one at 56.3 is his ADP. Chapman, I have at number 15 corner infielder. His ADP is 89. Abreu, ADP is 78.3. Goldschmidt, 63.3. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at your 18th corner infielder. His ADP is 60. Max Muncy is 74. LeMahieu is 66. And Josh Donaldson at 101. That finishes out that tier. There's some interesting names in there, right? And this is where it gets fun because these guys, it's really hard to differentiate. You know, Malpal, perfect example. Your Mancini, I have down further. But he could easily be named in this group. So there's a lot of variance. And variance is what you want if you're picking the right guys. So you want to balance your draft. Safe guys versus some high upside guys. So let's talk about Matt Chapman. I got Moncada at 56.3. I like him a lot. But I'm really interested in talking about Matt Chapman. If you guys haven't noticed, I like my athletics. I especially like these two guys. Matt Chapman is 27 years old. He'll be 27 years old this year. Okay? Played last year at 26. ADP is 89. And it seems like he's been around forever, right? He's kind of got known as Nolan Arenado's high school teammate. Nolan Arenado said he was a better defensive third baseman than he was, which has turned out to be true, right? It's turned out to be true. But here's what we don't talk about with Chappy. I'm a little biased about that too, right? Chappy. Here's what we don't talk about. What we don't talk about is his trends. He's been in the majors 3 years now. His home run totals go 14, 24, 36. So as a statistics guy, does that mean 50 this year? Because that's how I'm reading it. I mean, if you're talking about this guy's taking a double-digit jump in homers every year. Right? Let's talk about his batting average. 234, 278, 249. Is the 249 an anomaly? What's the reasoning for that? Can 249 turn back into 278? I don't think that's unreasonable. He's shown over 616 plate appearances that he can do that. I look for his batting average to jump back up, not maybe necessarily to 278, although I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it went higher. He's shown discipline at the plate, guys. 36 homers,